You see what be happening, right?
It's a setup. But
It's a
anyway,
setup. It's a trap.
happy Friday, everybody.
Happy Friday, and happy Friday if you didn't hear me the first two times.
Welcome back to another Shit Talk Fridays. I'm Gina.
And I'm Evo.
And tonight we're drinking not wine, which I'm actually pretty excited about.
Yeah,
It's very summery. I've been in that summer feel, even though it's not officially summer yet.
Yeah.
So I don't know the type of tequila that we have in it. I know it's just silver, but it is Trader Joe's drink watermelon cucumber with tequila.
Yeah.
But you chose a tequila, so I guess you could.
It's a mezcal tequila.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, it looked like a silver. Sorry.
It's a silver mezcal. It's a white blanco, whatever
okay.
you wanna call it.
That's what I meant.
Yeah. It was either that or the Trader Joe's. And the Trader Joe's one was like labeled margarita mixer. You know what I mean? So like,
what, you were suspect about that?
it's not that. Like if they're literally branding it to mix with, I can't imagine that the quality's that great.
Oh, well, once upon a time, we did talk about how Evo is a tequila connoisseur, so I'm not even going to argue with you on that note. So let's cheers to this Friday and these drinks because they look delicious. Cheers. Why is that? Oh, because it's a mezcal.
And that's the cucumber.
Is it?
Yeah. It's the both. You could taste the cucumber and the mezcal. I'm sorry, I mean to cut you off, but definitely the mezcal. That's that different taste you got there.
I.
Where is this coming from? I closed that window.
Okay. Anyway, Mark, welcome to the stream. Thank
What's
you
up,
so
Mark?
much for joining us tonight. So, real talk, Evo and I weren't 100% sure what we wanted to talk about this Friday because we have had a lot of topics that we've discussed on the live, and we have a lot of topics on the back burner that we haven't even talked about yet.
Right.
But I don't think that the topics that we have on the back burner are spicy enough for us just yet. So like we always try to find something really spicy to talk about, I guess, or something that like really strikes a chord with us. So some of the topics that we have on the back burner, they may come later into play later on, but right now I just don't think that they're ready just yet.
Right. They're simmering.
They're simmering. So we actually were like, had a little bit of a difficult time deciding what we wanted to talk about. However, something I have come across more recently that really kind of bothered me that I wanted to talk about was an Instagram ad that I saw, obviously on Instagram, and it was an ad with Leslie Jones. And if you're not familiar with who Leslie Jones is, she has like a reoccurring role on SNL. She's in the newest Coming to America. She is a deep complexion black woman who has like a very short kind of like funky haircut.
It's kind of like a high top, like she's got like a little high top, kind of like a what would be categorized. I'm gonna categorize as a boy cut. You know, really really tight in the back, close shave. And then her hair on the top kind of like spikes. It goes up like a square.
I would actually say that it's more of like it's shaped more of like a mohawk-ish style. I wouldn't say that it's a high top.
Okay, so you said her name was Leslie
Jones.
Let's take a look.
So anyway, came across this ad on Instagram, and it's Leslie Jones, and she is advertising for a delivery service. And I thought that the ad was really funny because the way that the ad starts off, she's not facing the camera, so she's kind of like this, and then like when the ad opens, she turns and she's like, "You want to order tacos?" So I just thought it was really funny, and I like Leslie Jones.
Yeah, she's pretty funny.
So since I thought the ad was kind of funny, you know me, I love to go into the comments. So I go into the comments, and nobody's talking about the ad itself, or about like how I thought it was funny, people are talking about her appearance. And they're not talking about it kindly. They're talking about it like some of the comments made reference to like her.
I'm gonna bring this in.
Yeah.
So that's a little big.
Yeah.
Just,
people were making comments about her appearance, and they were saying things like she needs to do something with her hair. She's hard to look at. There were people that actually made references to her looking like some sort of like monkey, or like they were using like the gorilla emoji and stuff like that. Really some hateful shit. But one of the reoccurring comments that I saw was women making comments about her appearance and how that is to why she doesn't have a man in her life. And I was really pissed off by that. I get really pissed off when I read things like that, because I immediately am so angered at the person that's writing that, because it just makes me feel like that person writing it really has no understanding of like how we are as humans. Because if you think that a person's looks is what is one going to get them a man or a woman, or give them the ability to keep a man or a woman, then you know nothing, Jon Snow.
I would agree with you on this. I mean, obviously it sounds like these people that think that she needs to do something about her looks so that she could potentially get or keep a man don't have men to begin with.
Listen, I'm not even going to make that assumption.
I'm going to make that assumption. I'm going to go there, because to say that looks are what gives you the ability to keep a man just tells me that that's just not possible. Looks are not going to hold a relationship together. Mm-hmm. Period. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've met beautiful women before, mm-hmm. and I've upon approaching them and talking to them, it turns out they got no depth, and immediately they just become unattractive. Mm-hmm. So I can't imagine what type of person you are that someone's looks are what keeps you in the relationship. I can't imagine longevity coming out of that.
So I think it's interesting that you bring up the word attraction. The minute that you said the word attraction, that is what I was actually going to go to. As far as a relationship, I do think that in a relationship, or if you're looking to date someone, you have to be attracted to that person.
Yeah, I mean,
but
of course,
that does not mean that the attraction to that person is based on their beauty. Do you understand what I'm saying when I say that?
Right.
So, and as cliche as this statement may be, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I believe that to be true, because what one person thinks is beautiful could be very different what another person thinks is beautiful. And I'm not even just referring to a person's looks. The attraction to another person can be based on like their personality. It could be based on the way that they look. It could be a multitude of things what makes you attracted to that person. I think that is definitely something that is essential in a relationship, and if you're looking to date someone, there has to be an attraction. But I don't think the attraction is always based on the way that person looks. That could potentially be part of it. So I don't think that the way a person looks, whether they're attractive or they're very attractive or whatever it is going to keep or attract somebody.
Agreed.
Because like it's to each their own. So I'm just so bewildered by people that write these type of comments about somebody like Leslie Jones, because maybe she's not the typical what you think the typical woman should look like, because whatever the fuck is that, I don't know, unless we're comparing it to based on what like society pushes out as like an agenda of what they think women should look like, and Leslie Jones doesn't fit that social norm.
Well, isn't there a study? Didn't we? I believe we spoke about this before. Wasn't there a study that was done that basically it gives like this perfect shape of a woman's face, that like symmetrically a woman's face based on people's responses and the way that they're attracted to certain features. There's like a type, a face type that is considered to have the most attractive figures based on surveys and people's responses to what is attractive and not what is not attractive. I felt like we've spoken about this before.
I don't know, maybe you lost me a little bit because you said a certain type of face attracts a certain type of figure. Wait,
no. What I'm saying is that there's a certain type of facial features that are known to be the most attractive type of features.
Okay.
And face shapes, nose shapes, eye placements.
Okay.
Lips, and things like that. That, based on studies, are considered the most attractive.
Okay.
So I mean, so like there is like a standard based on society of what's like attractive and what's unattractive. Can we agree on that?
I have a hard time accepting that, because who's doing these studies?
I mean, we're just
where are they pulling their information from?
We're talking about.
I honestly believe that beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and what one person is attracted to is very different to what another person is going to be attracted to. But what I'm saying is that in a society like in America, what you see the majority of is what Leslie Jones is not she's not particularly that. So I could see how people would look at her and say she's not a typical beauty. Because that's not what typically people are seeing. Do you understand what I'm saying when I say that?
So when you say that she's not a typical beauty,
I'm not saying that.
But it's what you stated. It was a statement that you just made based on some information that you gathered.
No, I think you're missing what I'm saying. So when you watch movies, TV, you look at magazines, you're on the internet, what is portrayed primarily is a particular type of beauty based on like who's marketing it, who's advertising it, what companies are putting it out to you, right? That is the type of beauty that they want to, that's the narrative that they want to push as far as like what they think is beauty. Now, Leslie Jones is not generally not part of that. I'm not saying that I believe that. Like, I'm not saying that like I think that those people that these companies are advertising are what is considered beautiful. But that is what a lot of people in society see as beautiful, because they're constantly being that's what's being put in front of them. So when they see someone like Leslie Jones who is not that, they're going to critique that.
Okay, so
do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, so but that's still what I said. Then what I said still stands.
Okay.
So certain companies they promote certain type of they target certain type of they push certain type of agendas, like you said, right? Certain companies, they push certain type of agendas, but those agendas are pushed based on marketing research. They're going out and they're gathering information based on polls or surveys or what have you about what people are interested. That's how they target their consumer, by finding out what it is that they like.
Okay.
So based on that research, there's going to be a type that is deemed attractive and a type that's deemed unattractive, and the type that's deemed attractive, which people are willing to spend money on, is going to be what's targeted. So excuse me. So, based on that, Leslie Nielsen may not fall.
Leslie Jones,
excuse me. Leslie Jones may not fall into that category. Doesn't necessarily mean that she's unattractive. It's just not what.
I don't think it's not even not necessarily. I don't think it. I think it's not even necessarily. It's neither wrong nor right, is what I'm saying. And I want to read some comments before I say my next statement. I'm so annoyed by this. So Mark says that's a bit cruel and superficial. And hello, Sonia, and hello, Stephanie. Welcome to the stream. And then Laura says, yes, you said that, girl. So Mark says, but then we kind of live in a world where beauty is promoted and people without any personality are respected purely because of their looks. I don't know if they're respected. I think
to some degree.
Okay. People.
You have to
wait, hold on. Let me read these. Let me just read these, and then we'll go back to it. People adore Megan Fox and Tom Hardy because of their looks, but they are awful actors. Would they be as popular if they didn't look how they do? Lauren says, I know that study you speak of, and it was written about in the book The Game. And Mark says, to be fair, there aren't many men who will be attracted to a girl who looks like a man. I'm sure that some will, but the majority of men prefer feminine women and women prefer masculine men. But it's society's reinforcement of gender roles that makes Leslie Jones unattractive, in parentheses, to the masses, or even assume she wants a man. She may not be into men. She may like both, but gender roles assume heterosexuality.
Very well said.
Lauren, I don't even know if I said welcome to the stream, but shit, welcome to the stream, because honestly, I 100% agree with that. And Mark, I adore you, but I completely disagree with your statement about what men want versus what women want.
I think he's speaking in a heterosexual type of
because that is his perspective.
Right.
And again, this is objective versus subjective, and that is his subjective truth.
Right, but
that is what he believes is what women want, and that he believes that that's what women want from men and what men want from women. And that's so funny that he says that, because that's kind of like what we're going into later.
I feel like you took his comment and you really took it as across the whole spectrum of sexual preferences. And I when I read this, I can totally see that this was on just a heterosexual perspective.
Yes, but that is his truth. That's what he believes to be true.
Absolutely. I mean, of course, yeah.
Mark believes that there are men that are not attracted to women that look more masculine, and he believes that more women are attracted to men that are masculine.
He said there aren't many men that would be attracted to a girl who looks like a man. Mm-hmm. Not to say that there aren't any. He's just saying that.
So is he saying that he thinks that Leslie Jones looks like a man?
She looking like a man. That's from that. Those are not my words. That was just something I was repeating from a show.
It's a joke,
it's
Evo.
A joke.
Yes, yeah. I know, but
yeah. I mean, I guess that's what he's saying here.
Okay, so back to what you were saying before.
Let's see here. Hold on. Can we just?
I don't think so.
I mean, take off the makeup. It's it could be possible.
Okay.
Welcome to Shit Talk Fridays.
Back to what you were saying about what companies do and how they project what they put out there for their advertisements.
Right.
I think it's so and I don't say this to slight you. I think it's very naive of you to say that you believe that companies do this market research to determine what their customers want, and then that's how they portray an image. I know for fact that is not true. And I know this for a fact because I've worked for companies that will advertise things based on no research. They have people in their company who are the head of a certain department, let's say the department of advertising. And they will say, okay, this is the new thing that we're coming out with. I want to do a casting call. Right?
Okay.
They'll do a casting call to do a campaign for that particular product or clothing or whatever it is. And that director of that department will say, I want her or I want him. Has nothing to do with the research. It a lot of the times has to do with the internal decisions that are made based on the people that are running a particular department and how they want to see the brand representative.
Okay.
They may do market research as far as like what customers want as far as like the product, but not who they want to see the product on. And I know that for fact that does not happen. Now, to say that not all companies do that.
You know what? I was waiting for you to clarify.
But I do know that there are many companies that
Okay.
will just say, we think that this is what looks good,
I believe that.
and we're going to put that out there. And I
believe that.
believe that then what happens is that there are many other companies that will just follow suit, and they'll see a company like, I don't know, let's say, for example, Versace. And they have a particular type of looking girl for their clothing. And then Gucci says, shit, Versace's selling a lot of clothes. And then they have fucking Scarlett Johansson on their cover. We need to get, I don't know, whoever to compete. And I believe that's how it happens.
Okay, but still, when you're marketing a product, you're trying to appeal to a customer base.
Yes,
Right.
but the product, yes. But the person that they're putting the product in, I don't always think it's about how the consumer wants that. The consumer may want the product to be shiny and glowy, but they don't, like, if it's put on J-Lo or Leslie Jones, that may not be something that has been researched. That's what I'm trying to say. The person that is marketing it for them, the person that they choose to use for their campaign, is not always marketed. You think big brands are saying, oh, we did a research and they want J-Lo to be the next face of Coach?
I never said J-Lo.
But J-Lo, just so we know, J-Lo is.
What I said was particular characteristics that are considered attractive and unattractive. Okay, so for example, they may feel that a woman with higher cheekbones is considered to be more attractive than a woman with low cheekbones.
Okay.
A woman with eye placement in a certain area is considered more attractive than a non-woman. So they may look for a woman with these features to represent their product, because they know marketing shows that these women with these features are considered more attractive, therefore place their product on these type of people, these type of faces, these type of bodies. You know, these people with these type of hair textures, skin colors, body shapes. All this stuff I believe is researched.
I'm telling you for a fact that it's not always.
Okay. I mean, listen, we can agree to disagree on that. So, I mean, I don't think either one of us is going to be...
No, I don't think we can agree to disagree. I'm telling you for a fact that doesn't happen.
To say that it doesn't happen, I think that's a bit naive. To say that it's just flat out just doesn't happen, I think that's naive.
Evo, I'm telling you for a fact it does not happen.
So, you know, you've worked for a handful of companies, okay?
And so that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I know that there's
Okay.
a handful of companies that it doesn't happen.
You speak for a very small percentage
But
of what companies are.
But you said that you thought that companies did that, like, as a whole. And
No,
I'm telling you, as a whole, that does not happen.
I never said as a whole. I just said companies.
Okay.
I feel like you took what I said,
Okay.
and again, like I felt like you did with Mark's comment, you just spread it across the whole spectrum.
I'm just saying to you that my whole point in this was women that will make a comment about the way another woman looks based on what they think is like the typical beauty, based on what they see, I think it has a lot to do with what they're seeing on a regular.
Right. Well, I mean, listen, this whole thing started from a comment that you saw that stated that she needs to do something about her appearance because that's probably why she can't keep a man.
Yes, and then what I was saying to you about that is that what I find interesting is that it'll generally come from another woman. It'll come from another woman attacking another woman about her appearance. So that being said, what I thought was really interesting about that, right, is that people were saying comments like that based on the way that she looks, she that's probably why she doesn't have a man. But then you have people like Jennifer Lopez, Halle Berry, Lady Gaga, all these women that are considered beauties have numerous failed relationships. So now what's their problem?
I couldn't tell you. I mean, I honestly feel like that celebrity lifestyle, you know, gives people a lot of options. And So find that to maybe be a challenge to stay in a relationship or stay faithful in a relationship when you have so many opportunities being presented to you. And that's just my humble opinion. I don't know if that's a fact because I'm not a celebrity. I don't live in Hollywood. That's just, an outside opinion on why I think, it's hard for some of these women that are deemed so attractive to stay in a relationship, that has longevity.
Wait, say that one more time.
Okay, so you said that.
No, just repeat the last sentence that you just said. I need to hear that one more time.
What I said was that I feel that because of the insane amount of options that there are in that field, in that industry, that it's difficult sometimes for a person to stay faithful or monogamous in a relationship because of the immense opportunities that present themselves.
So what does that have to do with what does that have to do with these women?
Okay, so you said that why is it that these women that are deemed very attractive?
No, what? Okay, I think you're missing the connection. People are talking about Leslie Jones and her being unattractive, and that's why she can't get a man or keep a man. But then you have women that are deemed very attractive, and they also can't keep a man.
And you use these celebrities as examples.
So the example that I'm giving you is because here you have people that are very attractive versus a person that people are saying are very unattractive, and they both can't keep a man. So how does that make any sense? Okay. My point to you is that I 100% believe beauty's in the eye of the beholder, and it really has nothing to do with the way the person looks.
So my statement clearly answered your question.
Okay.
Your question is, how is people that seem to be attractive not able to maintain these relationships, right? And so what I was saying was that because there's a lot of opportunities, sexual opportunities that present themselves in this industry, so that may make it more difficult
for them or for the other person,
for either party, because it's not necessarily always a man that is the one that cheats on the woman.
No, I'm not. I'm trying to clarify.
Right.
Do you mean for them? Because you say for them. I don't know if you mean the man or the woman.
Yeah, either
or the man or the man or the woman.
Either
or,
or, and I think it just exists in that Hollywood lifestyle. I think that there's a large amount of people that are attracted to higher list celebrities because of the opportunities that being around those people brings them. So you have maybe somebody who's up and coming, who's very attractive, maybe in the room with somebody that's a higher list celebrity, and will do basically anything to try to have an opportunity with this person, and throw offer their body and at the right moment in time. And I can't imagine how many times that happens on a regular basis. So when I don't know what it's like, I can't imagine what it's like to live a life like that, where it's constantly happening. You go to parties, you go to events and stuff like that, and you're mingling with all these different people, and you have someone that has these ulterior motives, and they see you as an opportunity, and they're seeking you out for their gain, rather than just to meet you as a person because they really like you. You know what I'm saying? They have ulterior. That's why they say Hollywood is so or LA or whatever, so fake. Because people always have these ulterior motives. So like being in a relationship in that dynamic, I would imagine is very difficult.
Okay. I agree with you to the extent of like it could be very difficult to have a relationship in that dynamic because of the constant plethora of choices. I still am kind of I think what I'm trying to get at is that the people that are making comments against people who aren't attractive and saying that they can't keep a man, what would they have to say about people that are attractive and can't keep a man? Like what I'm trying to say is that statement about them saying people that are unattractive, that's why they can't get a man, and if they were to be attractive then that they could keep a man, then that beats their argument. Their argument makes no sense in that matter.
I understand what you're saying. If you take celebrities out of the picture and you put, two people that are just average, one that is, maybe, not as attractive as the other one, and you have the other one making comments about the one that's not too attractive, like, maybe you should do something about your looks, that's why you can't keep a man. And meanwhile, those people the attractive ones are themselves having trouble keeping a man, then your question is, why are they having problems?
Yeah, because that's my point.
Right,
then
I get that.
Their argument's invalid at that point.
No, yeah, of course I get
their
that.
argument has no validity. Like it's literally just fucking ridiculous, is what I'm saying. And that's why I said at the beginning of the show was, it says more about that person than it does about the person that they're talking about. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's about their own insecurities. It's about the way that they feel about themselves. And I myself am guilty of that. And I'm not saying here I'm sitting here like I'm a fucking saint. Like I've never made a comment about the way another woman has looked. And I know that comes from insecurity, because it's me not understanding the level of another woman's security in herself, her own. I'm not maybe understanding that woman's self-esteem and how she likes to carry herself. So maybe I'm confused by it, so I comment on it, because I myself may not be comfortable in that. And I've seen women do that time and time again. I've seen women comment on other women's clothing. There was a particular situation, and you were present for this conversation, where a woman that I know was having a conversation with me about her being on vacation with another couple, and she was very distraught about the way that the other couple's lady was dressing. And I was like very confused by this, and I was like, but why are you so bothered by this woman's clothing?
Yeah.
And she was like, I'm just so bothered by it because why would she dress like that, like around my man? And I'm like, but what does her clothing have to do with your man?
Right.
She was there with her significant other. They were enjoying each other's company. What does that have to do with your man? Do you feel threatened by her dressing? And because the way she's presenting her body in front of your eyes, man, it makes you feel uncomfortable? And this person just looked at me like, she literally was just like, fuck you, you're 100% right. And I wasn't.
You got a point there.
But I wasn't trying to be right. I was just trying to get her to understand where the depth of her comment was coming from. I didn't understand why she was bothered by someone else's clothing. And the only reason why I asked this question is because I myself at one time, when I was younger, would do the same. And I realized it was about me, not them.
Typically, that's how it typically goes.
Yes. So I always find it interesting where, you have this dynamic where women are like trying to uplift other women, and then you have other women trying to tear women. Why are you smiling at me?
No particular reason.
Okay.
I was just thinking, actually, what's funny is I was just thinking about something that you used to do that I admired and I found very unique. Because
I could just tell, like, you're looking at me in a way right now. I'm just like, something else is going on in your brain.
You don't really want to know what I'm thinking.
Oh, you know what? We do not. I'm gonna read some comments really quick, because you know what, Evo. Mark says, I think men in general will be attracted to J-Lo and Lady Gaga than to be Miss Jones. Maybe that's not fair, but I think it's true. I would somewhat agree with that. It also has to do with the fact that I also feel like the way Lady Gaga and J-Lo are, like portrayed in the media. They are put in a way where they're led to be more desirable. And then Mark says, whoa, sorry, I got a bit deep there. Let's take it back a notch. And then Lauren says, I feel that when I hated myself, I was a hater, period. When my perspective changed after doing a lot of work, the way I felt about others changed as well. It was simultaneous. Right? Does that say? Yeah.
Yeah, it was simultaneous.
And Lauren, thank you so much for sharing that, because that is like how I truly feel. So when I read these comments, I get so angry, because I'm just like, what did this woman do to you?
See, but I want to bring something up. I feel like that there's a certain way that you need to go about yourself in order to like generally change your perspective and the way that you see things and the way that you see other people. Mm-hmm. Very early on in our relationship, I remember pointing out to you, we used to go places, and I would always like noticing you like looking at other women. Yeah. But looking at other women in a way where you would just like, I would almost catch you like in a like a like a like a just a long gaze stare, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for a while, I noticed it, but I never said nothing about it. And so finally, I just got curious. I said, "What are you looking at?" And you said to me, you said, that girl over there, she doesn't even know that the way she did her makeup doesn't suit her.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish I could help her.
Yes.
I wish I could go to her and just tell her, because I know what she needs to do
Yeah.
to make that what she's trying to do suit her.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't do that as a woman. You can't just approach another woman and say that to her
No.
because it's threatening.
It's a threat right away.
It's offensive. She goes,
Yeah.
and like you were just so frustrated because you just wanted to go help her so bad. It was like
I still feel like that to this day.
right. So I think that in order for this whole thing to change, I think that a lot of women have to look at each other in that way, rather than criticizing each other, wondering. Then to just pose the question is, how can I help? What is it? What would be helpful in the situation,
Yeah.
rather than what would be demeaning or what would be what would like it was like. Well, the comments are just to tear a person down, but obviously those comments come from insecurity. So I feel like that a good way to change that dynamic is to start looking at those type of situations, and then rather than making a comment to tear a person down, create a thought of what would be helpful in the situation. How could this situation be improved or be better?
Yeah. That is a very... I'm trying to think of the best way I can say this. That is a very, it's a scary place. One of the main reasons I started to do makeup, separate from my love of art, separate from my love of color, separate from my love of creativity, I wanted to make women feel beautiful. And the joy that I experienced being a makeup artist when I would do a makeup application on a woman and she would be like, she would look at herself after we were done and she would just be like, I am the fucking shit. It always made me so proud that I gave something to a woman that came from my creativity that made them feel wonderful about themselves. Oh my God, the joy that I experienced from that. I had a lot of bad experiences, but when those experiences would happen, it was what would keep me going sometimes. I've even had situations where I would do makeup on women that had experienced cancer, lost all of their hair, lost all of their eyebrows, and to sit down with them and do a lesson and teach them how to, maybe beautify themselves in a way just to feel a little bit normal was so fucking gratifying because I felt like I was helping. It wasn't about
right.
Oh, I did this beat ass makeup on her. No, it had nothing to do with that. But as a woman, I had to tread very lightly about how I said things. You and I just had this conversation day before yesterday. I was on a job and I was telling you about how I had to describe to a woman about how her face looked. And then you made a comment on what you thought her eyes looked like. And I turned to you and I go, I would never say it like that.
Yeah.
And you were like, why? And I said, because if I was to say to that woman that her eyes were XYZ, that could cause a problem. I said, so I have to tread very lightly when I say things to a woman when it's referring to her beauty or her appearance coming from a woman, because I am then seen as a threat.
And your comment is received as offensive.
Yes, and as I'm coming for them, and it's such a fucking frustrating feeling because I have seen the opposite sex tell a woman how she looks like shit straight out the door, and it just be literally accepted like gospel. And I will sit there and fucking did this man just tell this woman that she looked like? Literally, I will tell you, one time I saw a guy tell a girl, and a fellow makeup artist tell a woman, girl, you looking rough today. When I tell you, my jaw dropped to the floor, and the girl was like, really? What do you think I should do? He was like, I don't know, but maybe go put your hair in a point. Girl,
So
No.
you know
And
what it is.
do you know what would have happened if I would have turned to this girl and been like,
Right.
yo, girl, you looking rough today?
So because it's not another girl, it's not a threat.
But regardless if it's a threat or not, it's
Because-
still coming. But it's still it. But how am I a threat if I tell another girl that she's looking disheveled?
Because women, you said women tear each other down.
Yeah, but how am I threatening her?
It's because of that. It's because of that. I don't know, why am I coming up for the word? It's because of that. It's for lack of a better word. It's just because of that. That stigma that women tear each other down, right? That like that's just a thing, right? It's right. So when a woman says something negatively to another woman and that person doesn't really know that person, it's it's perceived as a threat. Where you're just being honest and you're not being threatful. The person doesn't know you, and because you're a woman, and that's typically what women do to each other, quote unquote, right? Immediately, that's how it comes off as a threat. But if it's a person from the opposite sex saying it to a woman, then it's not, because it's not coming from a woman. And I don't even really know if that's the true answer.
I get what you're saying.
I'm just putting this together, like I'm theorizing this as I'm listening to you talk about this, and I'm asking myself, well, why isn't it threatening? Why is it when it's just a woman that is threatening, and when it's a male that it's not threatening? And that's the only thing that makes any sense.
What I find so crazy about that is that, but then at the same time, women want other women to sympathize with them when they're like, you're a woman, you get it. But I can't tell you that your hair looks fucked up today. But when you're on your period, I need to be like, yeah, girl, I get it.
Yeah.
Of course, because I'm a woman. But in the same token, I should be able to be like, girl, listen, your makeup, your foundation, doesn't match you correctly. Let me help you out. Unfortunately, as soon as I say it doesn't match you correctly, anything I say after that is like null and void. Like, I just fucking dug myself a grave. And
women are known to be catty towards each other.
And it makes me sad. However, I will say this. There are women that I have gotten through. And those have become some of the most wonderful women ever that I've ever met. In the same day, I told you I met a woman that was quite exceptional. And literally was making lists of things that I was recommending to her. And she was just so open to my feedback. But my feedback was being delivered in a way that was so lighthearted. Because I am a professional.
I think it's interesting that you have to take negative comments and make them positive.
Extremely.
For example, like you were saying, for example, someone that might describe their skin as yellow. And typically when you refer to somebody's skin as yellow, it's sick.
No, it's when someone says that their skin, I will have many people tell me that they're pale. But I could never refer to someone as pale.
Right, because someone who's pale is like malnutrition, sick, you know what I mean?
But I could never say to someone who, and the correct verbiage is, you are fair skinned, right, or you have a lighter complexion. I could never say to a woman who is a fair complexion, girl, you look pale. No.
Or for people like you with pale skin,
yeah,
like even in a professional type of way.
Look at my face. Yeah. No. That is a no. So we obviously got into this conversation because I was so fucking tight about that Leslie Jones shit. Yeah. And Leslie, I just want to tell you, yo, keep doing your damn thing.
Go ahead, Leslie.
Fuck these haters. Fuck these haters.
Do your damn thing.
Cause these people in your comments, they ain't doing nothing but virtual signaling. They're putting their comments out in the world so that people think that they know what they talking about. Don't nobody care about you. Let me just read some comments real quick. So Mark says, it depends on what a girl's looking for. Does she want to find a man? Does her appearance matter to her? Is she not even thinking in that way? Maybe that's the separation right there. That I would agree with. And Mr. Jones, welcome to the stream. And he says, I need those drinks, B.
I got you, brother. I'm about to eat this watermelon.
Oh, you know what? I dumped my watermelon into my drink, and I can't wait to eat it afterwards. So let's talk a little bit about men now. In regards to the way men like to attack other men. Because again, this is something that I have seen more recently that I find so fucking interesting. And I can't speak necessarily on this dynamic because I don't understand why it happens per se. I only have my opinion on why it happens, why men attack other men. But what I will say is this. The type of attacking that I see is what the men that are attacking other men are these alpha men who are attacking men who are what they would consider beta, or they would consider them non-masculine. And that's where I see the attacking happening.
Yeah.
I actually recently saw a TikTok about a man who was making a joke, but it was a joke, but it wasn't a joke. And he was like, really fit, really muscular. And he was saying that he was sitting in his car and he watched a girl come out of the gym with her boyfriend. And the boyfriend looked like, I guess, a more feminine man. Like he was a lot more thin, smaller framed, nails painted, like a black Scully on. And he was just like, and then he was using that song, girl, what the fuck is that? Like, why is she with him and not with someone like me?
Mm-hmm.
So obviously he was shooting shots at that dude. Like, look at this bird ass guy versus, a guy that looks like me. I need for you to explain to me why that dynamic happens. I have my own assumptions,
I mean,
but
it's for a lot of different reasons. I mean, in the sense that you were just referring to, it sounds like the guy who made that comment was obviously doing a lot of improvements to himself for the acknowledgement of outside people, whether they be men or women. And so when he's not being acknowledged, or his accomplishments aren't his accomplishments aren't being acknowledged by other people, and things that he would consider things that are unattractive or things that wouldn't get him those results, his insecurities are immediately going to tear those down.
So what you're saying to me is the same exact reason why women tear down other women.
Right. So if you're a man and you work out because you like to be fit, you like to be strong. If you dress nice because you like the way clothes look on you, because it makes you happy, you like the way you see yourself, then any other man having any other type of success that's unrelated to what you're doing is not perceived a threat, because there's no real insecurity about what you're doing to yourself. You're doing what you're doing for you. When you're doing as a man, when you're doing what you're doing to yourself for the acknowledgement and the recognition of other people, and other people that are not doing what you're doing are getting those acknowledgments, then all of a sudden you're insecure about what you're doing.
But then in actuality, what that sounds to me is like you just become a hater.
Right, of course, yeah. So that's one way.
So what you're saying to me, like what I said before, what you're saying to me is that it's the same thing.
Yes, but there are also men who are just egotistical.
Okay.
Who just got big heads and big egos, and they just they thrive off of shitting and talking down on other people. That's what gets them high, so that it just makes them feel better about themselves. I mean, it kind of sounds like they have an insecurity too. But yes, I've seen plenty of men that just do that. They're just fucking hot-headed, cocky as fuck, and will talk shit about anybody who is not doing what they're doing.
So I guess I know in some regard for some men, and in regard to the men that you're saying that do it just because they like to talk down on other men because they got big egos and they're hot-headed, they themselves may have some success in their life, or what they deem success. They may have like a good marriage.
They don't have to be.
No, what I'm saying to you is that even fuels it more for them. Is that like they'll have have a woman in their life.
They got something going on.
They
for
have
themselves.
a good job. Maybe they'll have some money. So they think the way that they are is why they are where they are.
Mm-hmm.
So then that gives them even more fuel to then talk shit about other people
Yeah.
who they don't perceive to be in the same lane as them.
Mm-hmm.
And then by doing that, they're just kind of like, oh, because he is not doing what I'm doing, or because he's not masculine, he's not getting what I'm getting. So I can understand that.
Yeah, I mean, you got guys that are just, you know, they're so up their own asses about their own successes that they're on this high, and when they see other men that don't resemble or don't look like they're doing any, and they don't, when they look at other men and they don't see that those men have any of the type of achievements and successes that they have, it automatically makes them feel bigger and better than that person. And their ego will even add fuel to that fire by verbally pointing it out, and and putting it on a pedestal so that it highlights them as a person. Like, look at that, that's got nothing going on.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, they got all this other stuff going on. You know what I mean? So it's just fuel to fire of an ego. That's what I mean. Like, egotistical men will just do that shit just to make their heads bigger.
I have met men like that in my life. And in the same regard, I feel like those are the type of men that lacked any depth, because
of course,
all that shit that they're talking about, that's all that they're about. There's nothing more to them.
Right.
And you know what I think about? Do you ever remember that Planet Fitness commercial? And it was a guy that he was walking around the gym and he was going, I lift things up, I put them down. I lift things up, I put them down. Like, I literally have met men like that. That they can't hold a conversation. They keep referring to them as like a point of conversation. Like, I do this, I do that. And I'm like, that's great. It's really easy to talk about yourself. Let's talk about something other than yourself.
I think it's funny because, like, a large percentage of the women that I've ever met in my life, all they want to do is laugh and have a good time.
I mean, who the fuck doesn't want to laugh and have a good time?
No, but particularly women. Like, I think men are really like they're hyper focused on impressing a woman with material things, not realizing that, getting into getting into the personality of a woman and finding out what she likes and making her laugh constantly and having a good time and smile, that those things surpass what material things can do.
I would 1000% agree with that. I love you 3000.
And I love you too.
So Mark says, Evo talks so much common sense. That's such a breath of fresh air. Sorry guys, but I have to go. I'm not gonna lie. Booty call. High five, Evo. Have a great weekend.
Go ahead, brother. Go get that.
Have a good time, Mark.
I support you.
Thank you for joining us tonight, as always. So, some of the things that I noticed when these men are attacking other men, when they attack other men based on masculinity. And I think that that's an interesting conversation that's happening right now about what masculinity is. And Lauren said it earlier in the hour, these gender norms that society portrays of like what a man should be versus what a woman should be, blah, blah, blah. And there are men that are just like, I'm a man and I mow the lawn and I take out the trash and like my wife feeds me 3 meals a day and I go to work and I'm like that type of man.
We knew a man like that, right? Remember?
Wait, so
this is funny because we actually knew someone that was.
And like those are the men that will then make comments about men that like, these fucking guys paint their nails. Yeah. They wear skinny jeans, or like they wear eyeliner, or like whatever. I don't know. They paint their hair green. Like they make comments about things that other men do that I guess are not considered masculine. So I'm going to give you some examples of men that are not traditionally masculine that I think bag fucking chicks on the regular, okay? That just goes to show you that it has nothing to do with what is masculine versus, like, it's about the depth, guys. And it's about the swag. Like, swag. Oh my God.
Charm.
The first fucking person that came to my mind that it was not your typical masculine man that had chicks throwing themselves at him. Baja la panties. Prince.
Yes.
Prince was the fucking man. Okay?
I don't even know if I did that right. But that's my best impression.
God rest his soul.
Yes.
Okay?
My
Had
nose.
women on lock. Okay? Was not your
That's
traditional.
'cause he had a level of confidence that was on 1,000.
But would you consider him a traditional masculine man? Was he out there in the woods chopping
No.
fucking logs up?
Absolutely
No.
not.
Was he making fire out of flint?
Nah,
No.
He was just deep philosophical and could fucking had some of the dopest songs to date.
And Corey, welcome to the stream. And Vanessa, welcome to the stream. So Corey says, just got on, but are you talking about toxic masculinity? Yes, we are.
And feminine, what would you call that? Feminine,
Toxic femininity.
toxic femininity. Yes, thank you.
At the top of the
words
hour,
were
we
escaping
talked
me.
about that. We talked about how women attack other women based on what they consider like the typical beauty. But now we're talking about how men attack other men because some other men don't fall into that masculine thing. Let me tell you something. I listen to Prince still to this day, and tears come
Yeah.
to my eyes. But then at the same time, he was like one of the sexiest men alive. I don't believe in these masculine gender norms of what
You
a man
don't.
should.
You
I
don't,
know.
but
You
there are
know
women,
that I
there are-
don't.
Yeah, there are women that
I
do.
know, and it's even worse. It's even worse when men don't agree with it and then women fucking co-sign that shit, because that makes me even more pissed off. Like, mija, do me a favor, like, just kind of stay in your lane. Like, please don't, like, there's a person, oh Jesus Christ, Candace Owens, and I know you know who she is.
Of course, yeah, I know she is.
And she had a lot to say about a recent Vogue cover with Harry Styles. Did you hear about this?
No.
Okay, so Harry Styles was on the cover of Vogue magazine, and he had a beautiful dress on and a blazer. And she's like, Harry Styles is attacking masculinity. Oh my God, bro. Meanwhile, this girl has been photographed on several magazines wearing a suit. Are you attacking femininity? Shut the fuck up.
Yo, you know
Like
what's funny?
that-
I remember us talking about this, and then you went back and started looking up pictures. You started pulling up pictures of her wearing a suit, and you were like, "Is this chick for real right now?" And I was just like, I had no words because like there was just I couldn't even say nothing about that.
I think a man
Like,
should
she
be.
literally shot herself in the foot with that shit.
I think a man should be whatever the fuck he wants to be. Okay? And however he chooses to carry himself, trust and believe that there is going to be a person on the flip side of that will appreciate him for who he is.
Yeah.
Whether it's another woman, whether it's another man, whether it's someone who's transgender, I don't care. There will be someone for that someone. And for someone to say, well, society says that you should be this way, or even another man should say that you should be this way, that shit blows my mind. I'll give you another example of someone who I think is hella sexy and doesn't subscribe to the gender norm of what is masculine. Ezra Miller. Sheesh.
I don't know who that is.
Ezra Miller is, I tell you right now, the Flash from Justice League. Ezra Miller identifies as queer. Here, go ahead. Pull this picture up.
I don't even spell it right. Miller. I'm not
Miller.
spelling it right. Oh, Miller.
Mill. There you go.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Ezra
yeah.
Miller.
So let's
Ezra
I'm gonna put
Miller-
a picture up of this guy.
Huh? Okay. So if anyone here is not familiar with who Ezra Miller is, he is another gentleman who is not what you would consider, or I don't want to say you or me, or what society considers a typical masculine man. He actually identifies as
Is this not?
identifies as queer. And what that basically means is that Ezra Miller is open to loving anybody and everybody.
I love everybody.
He has no boundaries of where his love can go. And yo, I am so for that. And let me tell you something. I feel like Ezra Miller in a dress,
Here we go.
in a pair of pants, I don't care what the fuck this man has on. He oozes swag.
He's definitely got that can kind of go both ways. Look about it. What's the word I'm looking for? The when you have a look where there could be feminine or masculine. Androgynous. Yes, thank you. I feel like he definitely has that androgynous look about himself.
But that's what so that's what I'm saying. He wouldn't be the typical masculine man, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Whatever the fuck that means. But anyway. Do you know that he dated Zoe Kravitz?
Did he?
One of the most beautifulest women. Beautifulest? Is that a word?
I don't know.
She's extremely beautiful, sexy, gorgeous woman.
All right, so
But he identifies as queer.
So
that means that Ezra Miller could also date men.
Here's him on a.
And he also will go by any of the pronouns.
So
here's him with full like almost full makeup on.
Full makeup on, but still kind of like
he reminds me of the lead singer from Aerosmith.
Has some masculine features still going on.
Has some, yeah. I would 100. First of all, that eye makeup looks great.
I mean, I think it's great. He's rocking it. I can't even hate on that.
So my point to you is like, I just wish that a man would see another man that maybe is presenting himself in this manner, and it wouldn't mean anything to them. Like, you think that just because he has makeup on that he's not masculine? You better believe Ezra Miller is fucking getting all the punani that he wants. Probably more than these alpha males. You think these gym rats are bagging Zoe Kravitz? Fuck out of here.
No, they're not bagging Zoe Kravitz because Zoe Kravitz is not attracted to that type of man. That's not her vibe. You know what I'm saying? Like, that just doesn't flow in her wheelhouse. You know what I mean? Like,
I would agree.
Yeah. So
because she's looking for a man with depth.
Yeah, she's looking for a man with depth. You know, who's creative, artistic, got style.
Well, hello, her dad is fucking Lenny Kravitz.
I mean, you know, it kind of
and her mom is like my idol. Do you not know who Zoe Kravitz?
Yes,
mother
I
is?
know who she is. It's just her name escapes me.
Okay. So, what you would think is like what another man would think is a typical man, I think is again like the same thing I said previous. Is it's what society portrays a man to be.
Yeah.
And then I think it gives other men what they think is fuel to fucking attack other men. And for women then to join that argument and be like, yeah, man shouldn't wear nail polish. Yeah, once upon a time, women couldn't wear fucking pants. So maybe like you should think about some of the things that you say and about what men should or shouldn't do before. Because once upon a time, men wore skirts. Once upon a time, men wore wigs. Once upon a time, men wore makeup.
Men still wear skirts.
And
they're called kilts.
Yes, but I'm talking about even in other times, like, you know, yes, men still wearing, but I'm talking about in other times, like wearing a skirt was a typical attire, wearing a wig was a typical attire. These were things that men did that was completely acceptable, but now it's not acceptable. But women couldn't wear pants, but now it's completely acceptable. Or, you know, I think people should just think about what they think should be a norm. Maybe for them that's their truth, but that's not the other person's truth.
Here's an interesting point, right? So I'm wondering what happened in society that shifted the dynamic of where men dressed flamboyant, colorful.
Mm-hmm.
They were the ones that it was a manly thing to be flashy and just have all types of attire.
Mm-hmm.
And that was part of masculinity.
And that's also part of nature.
Well, that's what I was getting to. Like, yeah. And it's because like I felt like that was very reminiscent of the way nature is. That where the male in nature is the one with all the colors and the one that does all the show that has to impress the female, and the female is very much just like, you know, just
more reserved,
like, yes, and just, you know, and picks the man based on, you know, how colorful he is, how big he is, how strong he is, you know, to select a stronger bloodline. And men resembled that for a long time in our history. And I'm wondering what happened that dynamic switched.
Well, I would just think that, as men and women, we just evolved, and fashion went a certain way, and then
I just think it's funny that,
and then different cultures came into play.
Yeah.
Because if I can only comment on America, and when you had different cultures then coming into America, and then you tie in cultures and religion.
yeah,
Certain religions have certain requirements of how a particular person should or shouldn't dress. I think then that starts to steer the way that men and women should then carry themselves. And when there's more of that, when that becomes the majority, then that's the way that society is going to flow. Do you get what I'm saying when I say that?
get exactly what you're saying.
But even more recent, and this is my last reference, you have an artist like Bad Bunny. Not your typical looking man.
You surprised me with his album. I'm not gonna lie.
What? That shit was fire.
I did not expect to hear what I heard.
Yeah, beautiful.
Only because what they play on the radio
Yeah.
is not mainly what his album is composed of.
And by the way, Vanessa wrote it. I was gonna tell you later, but Zoe Kravitz's mother is Lisa Bonet, and she's my fucking idol. I always say when I grow up, I want to be Lisa.
Thank you, Vanessa.
I want to be Lisa Bonet when I grow up. And then Lauren says women were not allowed to dress for attention. They had to dress chasted. A chasted woman was a desirable bride, virginal. Was it Victorians? I don't know when it started. And I understand what she's saying. But I think that a chasted woman has to do with religion. A virgin. A woman has to save herself. Those things are tied to religion. A woman is pure and all this other BS, Don't get me started on that, because that's like a whole nother fucking conversation that will get me so wrapped up. Like, I'll be so wrapped up in that. But I think that's maybe when that dynamic started to happen, and men had to court women, and women couldn't show certain women couldn't show certain parts of their body. Anyway, I just wanted to excuse me, oh my god, and I got so wound up, like the saliva went down the wrong pipe. So a lot of these things have come to the forefront for me from social media, from TikTok. But these are things that I think about. But when I see other people talking about them from a standpoint where I'm just like, what are these people even talking about? I like to talk about it. However, kind of switching gears, talking about men and women and all this other stuff, I came across another TikToker who I like to follow, who I consider to be like a really outwardly female, who, like, she reminds me a lot of myself in the manner of she talks a lot of shit. Like, she gets on her social media platforms and she says what she wants to say. And to my understanding, she is a comedian. So she writes a lot of the things that she presents on social media. However, more recently, she posted a video on TikTok that she is now getting dragged for on. She's getting dragged for it on TikTok, and there is a thread for her on Twitter. We're going to play the video for you of what she said, and then we're going to talk about it, and then that's going to take us into our top 5, but I want to play the video for you first.
I can't even lie to you. If you work a job that requires you to take care of customers, but you can't stand the fact that you might have to provide good customer service, you might need to find another avenue, because you might run into a bitch like me. You mad at me because I'm trying to buy some shit from an establishment that you work at and go about my day. I'm writing your manager, your manager's manager, and your manager's manager. I'm writing your district manager and your regional manager. I'm sending a carrier pigeon to corporate. Everybody in your chain of command is going to know how you fucked up. And I don't want to hear, well, maybe they're just having a bad day because it's about to get worse like a motherfucker.
Okay, so when you just did that to me, when you just did that, like, Evo unmuted us and he gave me a thumbs up, and my immediate thought was Wayne's World when they were like 5, 4, 3,
2.
Okay, So that was the video that I saw, and like I said, she's getting dragged on TikTok. A lot of people are duetting the video, and a lot of people are like basically just being like, she's a hateful bitch. She's got no fucking life. These are the type of people that they think that they're always right. These are the type of people that they deserve to be treated like that. This girl she's fucking annoying. This is the type of chick that if I saw her in the streets, I would slap her. Da 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 da. Just like everybody's on the opposition of what she's saying. No one is agreeing with what she's saying. Everyone is really hateful about her. And the minute I saw this video, I was just like, I don't want to say I 100% agree with her, but I had no gripe with what she was saying.
Yeah, I think at face value, when you first watch the video, she kind of comes off as that person like that. All you got to do is like just, blink at her the wrong way. Mm-hmm. And she's going from 0 to 100, mm-hmm. And, if that was the case, I think that that's wrong. You know what I mean? To go as far as like, doing all those steps because you had a minor, unpleasant experience at an establishment. But I think that, if you had an experience that was like extremely offensive, then yeah, like if somebody was out of line, by the way that they were acting or saying things, then yeah, there's some people that are in customer service that they'll make comments and do things on purpose because they're having a bad day. And those things are...
Wait, are you talking about the customer or are you talking about the employee?
I'm talking about the employee. Like, there's employees that will do things on purpose because they're having a bad day. You know what I mean? And you can catch that as a customer. You know what I mean? And in that sense, like, yes, I support what she's saying. Because I feel like people like that should be reported. They're creating a bad image for a company. And it's also creating a bad experience for a customer who's spending their money at this establishment. So, so as a consumer, you want to make sure that you're always having a good experience at this place. And the companies, they depend on reviews from the consumers so that they can always better service their customers. So they go hand in hand. I believe that they are necessary to always improve customer experience. But, if it's on some petty shit, then yeah. Like, I get why people are dragging her.
Yes. I totally agree with what you're saying. I just want to say that I led with that she's a comedian. I took that as like 90% of it as a joke.
Right.
I think that she really embellished that story. I think that she's probably just like any other person that if she has a bad experience, she's probably gonna maybe review it, or maybe she's gonna make a phone call. Do I think that she's sending a bird like she said? No. Hello, like there's a joke in it, and when people take these type of things so literally, I was just kind of like, are you? I almost kind of feel like they have no life. That they're sitting there going, oh my God, this girl is like the fucking dirt of the earth. Is she really though? Bro, she's a comedian. She talks about being a comedian. She does full on skits on her TikTok. So she's obviously joking to an extent. So like take it for that. But are you going to act like you've never had an experience where it was unpleasant in an establishment or in a store and you then asked for that person's manager or you then called the establishment? I'm that person. I will do that. I worked in retail. I've had customers call management on me.
Right.
I will say this, as a person who worked in retail, as a person who worked in customer service, I 100% do think that as an employee, it is your job to provide good customer service. That's why you're there. You're there to service the customer. Yeah, you're in a store.
Literally.
I don't think that you're there to be abused.
Definitely not.
And as a previous manager, that was one thing that I would never tolerate. I would never tolerate my employees being abused by a customer because from my experience, there are customers that do come in and will try to purposely mistreat an employee so that they can get their fucking way.
Or they're just having a bad day and think that they can go somewhere and because the customer's always right, they can shit on someone, vent, get all their anger out on someone without no recourse.
Yeah.
Because that person's in customer service and has to give them a good experience.
1000% true. And in that case, I've had those
Yeah,
experiences.
fuck those people.
And those are the times where I'm just like,
Yeah.
sir
Yeah.
or ma'am, you could leave now.
Those people
Have a
are
nice day.
true pieces of shit, because that is preying on like a weak opportunity.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like that. I can't stand people like that.
I honestly, I've been the customer and I've been the employee. I have such a found respect for people that work in those environments, and I can almost 90% of the time I understand why they may be approaching me somewhat disgruntled, because they've been dealing with people who have been treating them so poorly throughout the day
Right.
that it puts them in a mood. Maybe they came in a great mood
Right.
and they've dealt with fucking 10 Karens. And now I walk in and they're like, dear God, help me. Let me have the strength for this interaction, right?
Right.
And I know that firsthand. It's very hard sometimes to check your feelings at the door. But at the end of the day, yes, it is your job to give customer service. But I am not for a customer abusing an employee for their fucking pleasure, because I was that manager that I would just be like, call my boss.
You know.
And I would tell my boss that you threw a lipstick at me because I wouldn't return it after 6 months.
Yeah.
And you wore it down to the end. No, ma'am. I'm just following the policy of my company. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be rude. But I will not take your return. And now you're going to throw the lipstick at me? Get the fuck out of my store. Call my corporation. Make my, like Clint Eastwood, make my day. So I understand her when she says that. And I'm also the same person that will, I'm an avid Yelper. Positive reviews, negative reviews, somewhat in the middle reviews I've given. You know, like some people have gotten 3 stars. Some people have gotten 1 star. Some people have gotten 5. There's even been times where I wish that I could give more than 5 stars. Because I believe it's important to express your experience, positive or negative. I want to uplift people that have given me a great experience. I don't want to belittle people that have given me a negative experience, but I do want to bring it to the attention of the business, because I went there for an experience, and my experience was tarnished because of the interaction that I may have had with the employee. So I think it's important for that to be done. But it should never come from a place of like, I'm gonna destroy this person.
Here's how I believe the situation like that should be handled. If you're at an establishment, right, and you're having a bad experience by the person who's providing you service initially, I'd address that with management. Allow management an opportunity to rectify the situation. If management can rectify the situation and still make my experience a pleasant experience, then everything is settled.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Always give management the opportunity to handle what's going on, because they can't oversee everything that their employees do. Right? So if one of them's out of line and it's brought to their attention, allow management to rectify the situation. If management can't rectify the situation, or they fail and they actually are acting in a way that their employees are acting, then we got a problem. You know what I mean? Because now...
But what if they're just upholding the policy and
No,
you don't...
that's different.
Okay.
That's different. So I had an experience recently, right, where I bought something from a store. They sent me the wrong product. I called them back, and it turns out that the product that I wanted was out of stock, and they just sent me a whole nother product.
I
Remember this, right?
Yes.
And so I was very upset.
And they didn't even tell you that they were sending
They
you
didn't even
something
tell
else.
me.
They were just like,
They were like,
surprise,
Yep.
motherfucker.
I didn't get a phone call. I didn't get an email. I didn't get a nothing. And so then I called management. I spoke to management about it, and the manager at first seemed to be very helpful. And he told me that I had to send the item back. I said I'm not paying for shipping. So he tells me not to worry. We'll pay for the shipping. Just call me tomorrow or the day after. I'll send you a return label. I thought the problems were solved. Call the next day. All of a sudden, I'm getting the ring around. I can't get a hold of the manager.
You're getting the runaround.
The ring around, the run around. Thank you for correcting me.
Like the what?
Yeah. Well, we got to talk later, because there were some few things that I heard.
But why didn't you just point them out?
Because like
No, you need to do that.
man. It's like
So?
just the show must go on. All right.
Okay.
Anyway, so I the manager all of a sudden can't get a hold of him, and gave me the runaround for a couple of days, and I just got fed up. So after that, now he not only was the manager, he was actually the owner of the store. After that, I went on every single site that I could, and I buried them.
I remember this.
I buried them, and I found them on
well,
YouTube.
because they were trying to jerk you.
Yeah, they were trying to jerk me. Like literally, it just he led me on. He led me to believe that he was going to resolve my problem to
By the
pacify
way, just
me.
so we're clear, I said joke, you said jerk, but it means the same thing.
Led me to believe that he was going to resolve my problem just to pacify me over the phone.
Yeah,
and then ghosted me.
And then he ghosted you.
He ghosted me.
Yeah.
So once I realized that was the case, I buried them. I found them on Google. I found them on Yelp. I found them on independent websites that had separate
Eagle
customer
was
reviews.
Like, you want to go to war with
and
me?
I buried them. And so here's what I did. I kind of tortured them, right? Because now it's like now you brought the messed up side out of me. Every time I sent them, I made a bad review. I sent him that review, showing him and letting him know you can still rectify the situation. I'm going to go down every single site that I can find and leave a review every day that we don't find that.
You were also responding to other people's reviews, and you were just like, guess what? But this was my experience.
Yes,
don't buy from them.
And so every time I left a bad review, for every day I left a bad review, I would send it to them, just letting them know that another site had been reported with my experience. Once that happened, and I obviously was clear that they were not going to give me my money back or resolve my situation, I found them on YouTube, and I went on every single one of their videos, and I disliked every single one of them, and I commented on every single one of them with my experience. And then I remember like a couple weeks later, like all of a sudden I'm getting all these likes on my comments, and I'm like, where is it coming from? And it was from all those, and it never took them down.
It was from all the people that probably had the same exact experience.
So in that case, yes, I believe to go to that extent. You know what I mean? Because you're just left. There's no other choice. You're left no other choice. Like if I had to pay, I lost money on that.
You were sending pigeons, like she said.
I lost money on that. So guess what? They lost money in the long run with all those negative reviews.
Yeah, and justly deserved.
So in her sense, I felt like that. She maybe could have added. I guess if I'm gonna.
It was a joke, first of all. It was a joke.
I think it was kind of serious.
People took it for truth.
I think she was serious, but being super sarcastic and exaggerated about
that's
the extreme that she would go to.
I said that in the beginning. Is that I think she exaggerated the story, but and she's a comedian. I'm gonna read some comments and then we're gonna move on to our top 5 tonight. Holy shit, because we only got like 10 minutes.
I just want to say hello to my man Orlando, America from home. Thanks for joining, brother.
So Stephanie says, from someone who isn't always people friendly, I learned I needed to get out of customer service. It's not easy to be paid little, to be treated like crap, and give a smile. Shit. If that is not the truth, I don't know. And America from home, thank you. And this person said it's happened to them too. So our top 5 for the night is so we thought we would kind of just roll into the fact of like places that you should not shop. Top 5 worst places to shop.
Either you're gonna get a bad experience or some terrible customer service.
And I speak from experience because I actually worked in one of these places. And let me just say to you that working there made me hate this place, but at the same time, even when I shopped there as an employee, I was like, I hate this place. Absolutely hate it. So let's just go through our top 5 worst places to shop. And you can agree or disagree, but I'm going to tell you why I hate each and every one of these places as Evo names them.
So coming in at number 5 is the highly unpopular I'm sorry. I just thinking about this place. I'm thinking about how many times I've been here and just never
found nothing.
Found nothing.
Okay,
and that's Kohl's.
Kohl's is one of these stores that they have this gimmick, right, where they're just like, come shop at Kohl's. You can get the best deals. But if you don't have 77 coupons, you ain't getting shit.
That's the bait and switch. That's how they get you.
Because I can't tell you how many times I've gone to Kohl's, not because I wanted to go to Kohl's, because someone I know has asked me to go with them to Kohl's. And they're like, yo, come with me to Kohl's. I'm like, I bet. Let's go to Kohl's. And I'm like, what do people even buy in this fucking store?
Kohl's. I'm sorry. I had to.
The line system is ridiculous, okay? And like I said, if you don't have 77 fucking coupons, you not buying shit at a decent price. They got stuff in that store that was priced like how they used to price shit back in the 90s. You know, it'd be like $89.99, but used to be $109. Like it would just be some dumb shit, and you're like, $90 for these bed sheets?
Yeah, prove that.
Okay. $90 for these bed sheets? Are you fucking crazy?
Yeah.
I could go to Home Goods and get these Donna Karan bed sheets for $40. Fuck out of here, Cole. You don't have a coupon? Sorry, it's $89.99. Okay, then I'm gonna leave this right here at the register. I'm gonna walk right the fuck out.
Yeah, I think I can count on one hand the number of times that I've shopped at Kohl's.
And there's a Kohl's actually really close to our house.
Yeah.
I avoid that place like the plague.
No.
I'm just like,
I'd rather go to TJ Maxx.
I hate TJ Maxx.
I'd rather go to TJ
Yeah,
Maxx.
I know.
I didn't say I loved it.
Actually, I don't want to say I hate TJ Maxx. I dislike TJ Maxx. I'm more of a Marshalls girl. But anyway, even though TJ Maxx, Marshalls, and Home Goods are the same thing, but Home Goods is my place. But anyway, so so Sonia says that what they think about. Oh wait, Sonia, you Sonia's talking about Bad Bunny because he get all the females. Exactly. And then Corey says, my aunt makes me take her there. It's an alternative universe. She's talking about Kohl's. wait. I so feel her on that. I walk in there and I'm like, what has just happened to me as I walked into this place? Dear God, how does this even happen? And then Stephanie says, every time I went to Kohl's, it was with someone else. I always thrift.
Yo.
So I'd rather go to a thrift store 1,000% more. I love thrifting.
Yo,
I hate
am
Kohl's.
blown away about some of the stuff that we find. Thrifting.
We? Not we. You mean me.
I'm sorry. Have I never been thrifting with you?
Yeah, but you've only been thrifting with me because I've taken you thrifting.
Okay, but we go thrifting.
Okay, Eva, I
All right.
love you. Okay.
Really? Do you? I think you're trying to pat yourself a little on the back, much on the back. Like,
Yeah, I
a
am.
little too much though.
Okay, so let's
Yeah, that was we that went there.
let's move on to number 4 because I could talk about how much I hate Kohl's all day. So let's go to number 4.
All right, coming in at number 4 is the old school but still alive J.C. Penney's.
Yo. I'm going to tell you the only person that I know living that still shops at J.C. Penney's. My father. Okay?
For sure.
Angel.
For sure.
He goes to J.C. Penney's and he thinks he's fucking Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang. My father would be
He
like,
thinks he's at Bloomingdale's.
oh my God. My father would be like, Gina, I got this shirt at J.C. Penney's. $17. I had 2 coupons, my credit card. It was $17.
I had 2 coupons and I pay with points.
Right? And it's a shirt that I look like I could have bought off of Amazon Wardrobe for $7. I'm like, Daddy, it is not, like, it's not that amazing. J.C. Penney's blows my mind.
You gotta let your dad live.
I do. I don't, Evo, you know that I don't really say
You
that
know
to
I
him.
love your dad.
I know you do. I literally will co-sign anything my dad says. I'll just be like, okay, Daddy.
I co-sign this bullshit all the time too.
I know that's why he loves you so much. But my dad still shops at J.C. Penney's like he shopped at J.C. Penney's. He shopped at J.C. Penney's like in 1987. And she says she's screaming right now because I know that she's probably got people in her family that probably still, mira, you're gonna eat by the J.C. Penney. You gonna go J.C. Penney?
Because J.C. Penney's is still. I mean, like.
No, it's not.
Listen. It's a how do I want to describe it? It's a you step back into time when you go to J.C. Penney's.
Okay, so Corey said that Kohl's was an alternate universe. You going to J.C. Penney's? You're
stepping back into time, and you're stepping back into like fancy times. You know what I'm saying? Because like that was fancy back then. Like J.C. Penney's. You went to J.C. Penney's back in the day, like that was like fancy shopping. That was like high end a little bit.
Was it?
A little bit, yeah. J.C. Penney's when they first came out, the department stores, all the stores that they have, all the options that they have, all you could multiple floors, like it was huge.
Evo, I've never bought one thing in J.C. Matter of fact, I'm lying. I've never personally shopped in JCPenney's. I've never bought anything in JCPenney's. But once upon a time, my mother asked us to go with her to JCPenney's, and she bought us pots and pans, which lasted us quite long. That was the only time I ever was physically in a JCPenney's to purchase something. Again, I was only there because another
that
person.
would be a dope name for a dollar store.
JCPenney's?
JCPenney's, yeah. Because, like,
Why?
you know, because there's pennies in the name. Like, it's just, everything in there's cheap.
Oh, my God.
Right? Tell me that wouldn't be a dope name for a dollar store.
And
I'm
then-
just saying.
And Melissa, welcome to the stream. She says, Carmen will still take me to JCPenney's. And she's talking about her mom. But this is what I'm
she
saying.
will.
These old Latinos, they're just like, mira, you gotta eat by the JCPenney.
Yep.
Okay? They'll hop on a bus to go to JCPenney's. It's unfortunate. But, you know, I see JCPenney's coming to an end shortly.
Yes, there's a lot of department stores that are coming to an end.
Yeah, JCPenney's, I can't even believe that it's still somewhat surviving, but
Yeah, the next one on the list is definitely coming to an end.
If it hasn't already.
If it hasn't already, yes, you're absolutely right. And coming in at number 3, and this, you better...
This place is The Walking Dead.
Yeah, yo, you nailed it on the head with
It is
that
The
one.
Walking Dead, this place.
And that
it is post-apocalyptic.
It's definitely post-apocalyptic. You walk in this place and you feel like that, like, it's
the end of the world.
Yo, for real, it's depressing, and that's Sears.
Sears and Roebuck.
Yo, I remember the last time I went to Sears, how just like, I just felt I just felt disgusting. Like I was just like where am I right now? Everything just seemed so old and ancient. Like there was nothing in there.
Sears, I knew it.
Yo, there was nothing in there that I could even relate to. I just felt like that everything in there was still from like 10 years ago that they just never sold, and they just kept it all on the racks.
I have a quick story. I worked in a mall once upon a time, and we needed a tool to fix a particular thing in the office. There happened to be a Sears in the wing of the mall that I was working in. I was like, all right, let's go. Fuck it. Sears obviously probably's got a tool, right? Me and my coworker walk into the Sears, and I literally was just like, did I just walk into Zombieland? Everything was gray. There was some weird ass music playing. Shit was just placed in the weirdest places. There was like washing machines next to couches, next to fucking food.
Really?
It was, honestly, Evo was the weirdest shit that I've ever seen. And I honestly felt like the people that were walking around in there were dead.
Yeah.
Like they weren't even alive. And they were just like, where is the, It was the weirdest thing that I've ever seen. But I then again remember once upon a time walking into Sears being like, wow, this is the epitome of appliances. Like when you want a good refrigerator, you go to fucking Sears.
There was a moment in time where Sears was the place to go. That time has come and gone, and apparently, according to Melissa, Sears still exists. And Corey says that Sears is crazy. Daniel goes there for tools.
Oh my God!
I did not know that. I didn't even know that they like sold tools.
And Melissa says Sears is where you would go to take the kids for portraits. I actually used to go to JCPenney's, I think, once upon a time. No, I
remember that Sears. They had like a
yes, it was Sears.
Yeah.
I don't remember if it was Sears, but this was like, God, I'm dating myself. This was like probably like 1999. Lauren says I walked through Sears in 2006 in Woodbridge Mall when I was a shell of a human being. I was so skeeved out. There was a bin of $3 sweatpants. I'm shaking. Oh my God, I can't even tell you where I know there is a Sears right now. Do you know where there's a physical Sears?
Melissa could probably tell us though.
I honestly don't know where there's a Sears right now. Okay. We're a little bit past 9:30, so we still have 2 left.
Yeah, so coming in at number 2.
Oh God! And listen,
and I actually kind of still enjoy this place.
What?
Well,
never.
When I say enjoy this place, I mean like out of the worst department stores that there are, this is the one that I would say I actually don't mind going to.
Really?
Yeah, I can't say I've had a bad experience. I can understand why you don't like this place.
Okay.
All right, but I don't know. But I understand why you put it on the list, and that's Macy's.
Macy's is a... You know what Macy's is? When I think about Macy's, it's run by boomers that think that they know what millennials and Gen Z want. They're just like, hey, this is what we're going to do. We're going to try to sell this new perfume. We're going to get this DJ, right? The DJ is going to be 60, and the DJ is going to play music all day long at the loudest volume. So when customers come to the counter and they ask about the perfume, they can't even hear you. So you're going to have to scream like you're in a club. But you're trying to shop for your mother, and your mother can't even hear what the salesperson is saying, but they're going to love it. Because it's going to be a party. Everybody's going to be at a fucking party at 12 o'clock on a Sunday.
Because they love loud music. They just put it as loud as you can. And I agree with that. I've walked in there sometimes and I'm just like, what the fuck is going on?
And they
here?
still have people in Macy's sampling perfume on pieces of paper. Do you actually think, Macy's, that if I wanted to, couldn't sample perfume my goddamn self?
I get it. I understand.
Shopping is about an experience. The experience that I have when I go to Macy's is unsettling. I feel unsettled when I walk into a Macy's. There's nothing about a Macy's that I can't find anywhere else, number one. And number two, it's obnoxious. And one of my favorite things about going to Macy's is because at once upon a time, I told you I worked in one of these places. It wasn't Macy's. I know the ins and outs. I can tell when a Macy's is having a visit by corporate. When all the employees are moving around like fucking robots and they're just like, hey, can I help you today?
And everybody's being like extra. And you can tell.
But otherwise, they'll ignore me.
Yeah, exactly what I'm saying. You can tell from your past experience that all of a sudden you walk in there and just like shit is mad different.
I honestly hate Macy's, and Macy's I also feel like has a similarity to Kohl's. You have to have all these stupid coupons, and it's honestly not worth it. I still feel like they're behind the times. The fact that they don't have like an app that you can just scan shit, like, no, I don't got time for that. And their website is atrocious too. It is so unuser friendly. They're still so behind the times because, again, like I said, they still got freaking people who are 4 generations behind trying to understand how marketing works for generations that they have no understanding of. And that is a failing business. It's unfortunate because at one time I think they were a giant. But that moves us to our number one. And I think the number one spot is something that can be argued.
Yes, this is definitely debatable. But again, I understand why you have this as number one. And that is Walmart.
Walmart is absolutely disgusting.
Walmart can be crazy. And not for nothing, there's memes about Walmart.
I'm afraid of Walmart.
There's memes about Walmart
and the
people that go to Walmart. All right. So I can understand why you put this on here. You have to go to Walmart. When you go to Walmart, you literally have to go there at a particular time of the day, of the week, just to have like a normal experience. Yes.
Yeah, you have to go at 9 o'clock in the morning on a Tuesday when the majority of society's at work and the locals are not in fucking Walmart. Hopefully they're in Macy's.
Yeah.
Okay. And I love the fact that Corey says that Macy's is spiraling. That's exactly what it is. Like that's a perfect depiction of what Macy's is. I feel like I'm fucking I'm moving around in circles. But okay, so Walmart. And Melissa says Walmart depends on the location. And she says Walmart at midnight is the best. And this is what I'm saying to you. I think Walmart is really dependent on the time of day. But I think a store that can always give you a stellar experience should not be dependent on a certain type of day.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
I am sorry. I'm a Target shopper. I have no shame in saying that. I can go to Target at 9 o'clock in the morning. I can go to Target at 9 o'clock at night. I'm still going to have the same experience for the most part. There's nothing about Target that makes me feel insane. I go to fucking Walmart because there a small amount of times there's a Home Depot in our neighborhood that's very close to a Walmart. So let's say we're at Home Depot and I need to run in to maybe get, I don't know, bread. And I have to brace myself. I go in there with sunglasses, with my AirPods. I literally have to walk in there like I don't want to see humanity.
You're like, hear no evil, speak
See no evil.
see no
Literally.
evil.
I'm just like, let me grab my shit, go to self checkout, and run the fuck out. I don't even want a bag. Please don't even talk to me. I get such anxiety when I'm there because of the type, and it's unfortunate. It's because the employees are 100% disgruntled 90% of the time. I've literally never met a nice employee from Walmart except for the one guy who I'm talking about.
Yes, he was a greeter.
Yes, he was a greeter who was disabled, and he used to greet at the door, and he used to say, "Welcome to Walmart." And I literally saw that guy for like 10 years. I would go in there to buy, food items every now and then because it was very close to my job, and I would run in on my lunch break, and I love that guy. Anyway, the employees are disgruntled 90% of the time, and then the people that go into Walmart, why is it that they think that when they go into Walmart, it's time to act the fuck up? They want to be screaming at their children. They want to be calling their auntie on the phone on speaker. They want to hold it this far, and they would, they want to be having full-on conversations. They want to be either half naked or improperly clothed, or they like just the stuff, or they want to have body odor, just like all types of like things that you wouldn't like when you want to go out into society. You're going to be amongst other people, maybe be somewhat presentable so that you're not like I believe in not caring what other people think, but you should have like a common courtesy, but like when you are you've seen the jokes of Wally where people were like their ass hanging out or body parts hanging out, like just like weird
I was trying to
shit.
look up some stuff here, but I didn't find anything that was actually suitable for what I wanted to put. But yeah, there's all types of weird shit that happens at Walmart. So Lauren says,
I like the silverware and bathroom accessories and coffee pot. That's at Bed Bath & Beyond. Is $12 less at Walmart. See, I would agree, but like I said, you need to then run in there, Lauren, and then thank you for staying with us for the evening. She said she said great show. She had to stay from number 1. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I would agree, Lauren. Run in at 9:00 on a Tuesday. Other than that, don't go to fucking Walmart. And I made it my number 1 because it's still so prevalent, but I'm still so afraid of that place. But anyway, and Corey, yes, I did say body odor because I've been in Walmart and just been in the aisle and been like, nope, need to leave this aisle at this very moment. I have to go. That is real talk. So that brings us to the end of our show tonight.
yes.
For a show that we didn't know what we were going to talk about, we sure as hell did a lot of talking.
I mean, but that's
just who we are.
That's how we do it.
That's how you do
That's
it.
how you do it.
I would just like to say at the end of the hour a couple things. I don't want to say happy Juneteenth because I don't even know if it's like how you would pronounce that. But today is Juneteenth, and if anyone is not aware of what that is, it is the celebration of the emancipation of African Americans, Afro-Americans being emancipated from slavery. It is the first time that we are celebrating this holiday. I'm happy for it, but I have some issues with it. But maybe it's a start to something. That's number 1. Number 2, it's Father's Day on Sunday, so happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there celebrating Father's Day, my husband included.
I'll take that. Thank you.
So I just want to say happy Father's Day to all the fathers
very
out
much.
there this coming Sunday, and I hope you have a wonderful Sunday. I'm a little jealous that Father's Day is in June, and for the most part, they get beautiful weather. And Mother's Day, it always fucking rains. Just a little bit of a hater in that case. But I really enjoyed this show tonight, and until next Friday, we will see you. Hang on one second. I just want to say peace out. Just give it a second.
Peace out.